Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 8th, and today I listened to Evermore by Taylor Swift. I listened to one Taylor Swift album every Album April so far. At this point, it's been 1989, Folklore, Red, and Midnights. And out of those four, my favorite was Folklore. 1989 and Red both had higher highs, but Folklore was a lot more consistent. Folklore was released in the middle of 2020, and Evermore was released in the end of 2020. And now, having listened to both albums, I can say that them together are definitely her best work, at least out of all the stuff that I've heard. My thing with Taylor Swift has consistently been I believe she is a very talented songwriter. But most of the time, the lyrics feel like they could go back to the drawing board and use a bit more polishing. It is true that there are a few songs on this album with questionable lyrics that they should have either reworked or just scrapped entirely. But when looking at the album as a whole, these are some of the best lyrics I've heard from Taylor Swift. My favorite song from Willow was the second song, Champagne Problems. Maybe I'm just being parasocial and reading into something that's not there, but when listening to this, I almost feel like it was the final form of a song that Taylor Swift had been trying to write for years. When I was listening to the vocal melodies, I kept thinking of two songs from her catalog, All Too Well and Getaway Car. And thematically, Champagne Problems is like if you took the stories of both of those songs and kind of combined them. It combined the bittersweet nostalgia of All Too Well with the self-awareness from Getaway Car. And while from an audio standpoint, both Getaway Car and All Too Well sound better, All Too Well is one of the best sounding songs Taylor Swift has ever made. It's only in Champagne Problems that the lyrics strike that perfect balance. And I'm not knocking the way that Champagne Problems sounds either. It sounds great. I really did enjoy Coney Island. It is a very, very somber song in a powerful way. It just has a couple lyrics that needed to be reworked. Long Story Short has a really good drive to it, but I didn't love the lyrics. Songs like Happiness and Closure actually did manage to have this bitterness that felt relatable and presented in a balanced way. No Body, No Crime was interesting. It really does sound like if a young woman listened to a bunch of true crime podcasts and convinced herself she could kill someone and get away with it. Also, I don't really know what the point of including Haim on that song was, because they barely did anything. I have no opinion on Haim, and I still have no opinion because I didn't really hear anything from them. Tolerate It kind of felt like a gimmick song. It's in a 5/4 time signature, and while the pianos flowed pretty well, the vocals didn't really. But the only song in the album that I would actively say I didn't like is the final track, Evermore, the titular track of the album. And that is entirely due to the contribution of Bon Iver. I loved Exile, the song that they featured on in Folklore. But apparently it's a lot more common to hear them as you hear them in Evermore, which is... Look, I can't really think of any male falsetto that I can think, yes, that sounds good, but oh my gosh, is Justin Vernon's falsetto one of the most grating I have ever heard. I would rather they have gotten Haim to perform on Evermore, because that song had a lot more potential than No Body, No Crime. But even despite its admittedly disappointing closer, I thought that Evermore was a very good album. The two 2020 albums demonstrated a side of Taylor Swift that we hadn't seen in a while, one that felt a lot more worldly. When you look at some of the singles from Reputation and Lover, it really felt like she was trying to do a thing. With Folklore and Evermore, it really felt like she was just trying to make good music. I don't know if I'm really that interested in listening to any more Taylor Swift albums, at least not for a while. If anything, I might actually listen to The National, because the lead singer from The National did a lot of songwriting for this album, and I thought it was really good. But that's for another day. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.